Today I would like to share with you my minimalist beauty routine. This video is a very big community request and I'm going to share with you everything that I do when it comes to hair care, skincare and makeup. So feel free to grab yourself a nice cup of coffee or tea if you like, and let's dive right in. Welcome back everyone, and if you're new here, this is a place where you can get tips and inspiration for living a simpler, happier and calmer life. Definitely hit subscribe down below if you haven't already, because I would love to see you again next week. Let's talk about skincare first. So over the last year or so, I would say, I have been taking my skincare just a bit more seriously, especially when it comes to things like the products and the ingredients that I'm using, and I am noticing an improvement, especially when it comes to hydration and the appearance of like fine lines starting to show around my eyes. I just turned 35 and I really don't mind aging or just my skin looking my age, but I mostly just want to go for having my skin look like it's well taken care of, basically. I do most of my skincare in the evenings, so in the morning it's actually really simple. I just wash my face with water. I don't like to over cleanse because I have naturally very dry and sensitive skin. So I just wash with water and then I apply a generous amount of sunscreen. We all know that sunscreen is very important, and I would say I'm pretty diligent about it, especially with me just having very light skin, and I'm also prone to getting freckles and sunspots in the summertime, as you can see right here. So I just apply my sunscreen and then wait for a while before I apply my makeup for the day. In the evenings, I'll start by taking off my makeup. I'm currently just using this kind of grocery store brand makeup remover. Probably not the best, but it does work. And then I'll cleanse my face using a very gentle cleanser. This one is from Deodorant and I use more of their products. Not to be confused with Bioderma, that is a different brand. And Deodorant is one of those brands in the video that I think you could only get here in the Netherlands. So I'll rinse off the cleanser, and I've learned to not dry my skin off completely, but kind of leave it slightly damp, because that moisture can really help to hydrate the skin. And then instead of immediately going for a moisturizer, which is what I used to do, I started applying a hyaluronic acid serum first. This hyaluronic C serum is from Osea, and the Osea products in this video were gifted to me. So I've been using this for around half a year now, and it really feels very nice on my skin. I also use their hyaluronic eye serum around my eyes, so I'll just kind of roll this underneath and to the sides. And I'll wait about 2 minutes for these serums to be completely absorbed into my skin. And then I'll finish off by using a moisturizer for sensitive skin on my face and neck area, as well as an eye cream, which is also from Osea. If there's any product left on my hands, I just kind of go like this and rub it in. I used to wash that off, but then I figured, if it's good for the face, probably good for the hands too, so I just kind of do that. When it comes to body skincare, I have one lotion, also from Deodorant, and I apply that just after showering in the morning. And I use the same lotion for my hands and my feet, usually before I go to sleep. And then I will use a deodorant. So for the last couple of months, I've been using Wild deodorants, and these have been a game changer for me because it has been really hard for me to find a natural deodorant that I actually like. Either they just don't work, or they irritate my skin, or they're very just annoying to apply. But these I really like, so I reached out to Wild, and I'm very happy that they agreed to sponsor today's video. Wild is a natural deodorant that comes in a reusable case, and it is a refill system. So these refill packages are completely compostable. You just click them into the case and wind the thingy on the bottom to make it go up and down. It's also really smooth and soft. It glides onto the skin, it dries very quickly, and honestly, these just keep me smelling fresh all day, even in the summer, because whenever I start to sweat a little, you just smell the deodorant more. I've been using their new Beach Bum scent, which has coconut, vanilla and patchouli, which happen to be 3 of my favorite scents all rolled into one, and it really does smell like summer, but also just very sophisticated. I even stopped wearing perfume because this is just what I want to smell like. They don't contain aluminum, parabens or sulfates, and they are completely vegan and cruelty-free. They also have scents without baking soda for sensitive skin, and it's just nice to know that I'm using something that's eco-friendly. They're also a certified B Corporation. They just do a lot of really great stuff. So I recommend these to everyone now. My boyfriend also started using them, and if you want to try them out for yourself, then you can use my link in the description box and use the code Vera20 to get 20% off on all Wild products. So really nice discount, definitely recommend checking them out. Big thanks to Wild for being the sponsor, and let's move on to hair care next. Now let's move on to hair care, because oh boy, did I get that wrong for most of my life. I only learned that I have wavy hair and not like frizzy, unmanageable hair when I was around 32, and it was videos like this one that helped me to turn my hair care routine around. So I am now happy to be able to pay it forward like this. My hair is wavy and naturally quite dry and frizzy. So the first thing that I changed was that I stopped using any heat on it, and I also stopped coloring my hair a lighter blonde. So I'm back to my own coloring now. I also stopped brushing my hair after washing it, because if you have my hair type and you brush your hair, which is what I used to always do, it looks like this. And I'm back to washing my hair about once a week now. Unfortunately, I can't show you exactly what it is that I do while I'm in the shower, because we have a tub with a shower curtain, and if I open up the curtain, the bathroom will turn into an indoor pool. So I will just walk you through what it is that I do. First thing is that my hair gets really tangled really fast. So what I do is I brush it through before I wash it, and making sure that I'm really getting rid of all of the knots and tangles. First, I'll wash my hair with this Icon Quench Moisturizing Shampoo. I used to use Function of Beauty for my hair for quite a long time, and they also worked great. But now I'm using Icon, and afterwards I will most often use the Inner Home Treatment Mask, also from Icon. Sometimes I skip this step, but usually I'll do it. I'll rinse out the hair mask and use a conditioner. I use the Icon Free Conditioner at the moment, and I use the Squish to Condition method. So that really helps to lock in a lot more moisture. So you apply the conditioner to your hair, and then you scrunch water into your ends from the ends up to lock in that moisture. After rinsing out the conditioner, I get out of the shower for a little bit and I brush through again my hair to make sure I'm getting rid of any tangles and knots that are left. I know you're not supposed to brush it anymore at this point, and I've tried not to, but if I don't, it just looks like a bird's nest. So I'll brush it through completely. I will brush it through upside down to create more volume, and then I go back in the shower one more time while still upside down to make my hair soaking wet, which is important for the next step. It is important to apply your styling products to dripping wet hair. So I'll first use the Bounce Curl Clump and Define Cream. That stuff is great because it creates these like curl clumps that dry up really nice. I'll apply it through the length of my hair first, and then again while upside down I will squish it in there, and you're supposed to hear that sound. If you don't hear that, that means that your hair isn't wet enough, and then you can add some more water because you're supposed to hear the sound. And after that, the secret ingredient is I will use some hair gel, and I use the Light Hold Gel Cream from Bounce Curl. Exactly the same way, just kind of squishing it in there upside down. And when I first learned that you could use hair gel like this, I was a little confused. But if you apply it to dripping wet hair, it doesn't dry up crunchy or hard or greasy. It just really helps to kind of set the curls. And then when all that stuff is done, I'll just plop my hair quickly into a microfiber towel for about 15 minutes, just so that it's not like dripping anymore. And then I take it out and let it air dry, which takes around 3 hours in the summer and 6 hours in the winter. Admittedly, air drying is kind of annoying because you're just sitting there with wet hair for hours. I do like that I'm not using heat on it anymore, but if that's not your thing, then you can definitely use a blow dryer with a diffuser, which can also really help with the curls. So my hair looks like that around 2-3 days after washing it, and after that it kind of just loses a lot of the volume and it starts to get really tangled again. So I don't really do the whole curl refresh thing. After about 2-3 days, I just brush it through, get out all of the tangles, and I will wear it in a side braid usually. The only reason I do a side braid is that I don't really know how to braid my hair if I can't see it, like at the back of my head, there. Or I put it up in kind of like a high bun, like a messy bun, and I use a scrunchie on top. Or on days when it's not as frizzy, I'll just grab these two strands of hair in the front and I just kind of twirl them around and kind of like attach them in the back with a hair clip. So sometimes I do this in videos and it looks like this. When it comes to makeup, my #1 tip is to just own one of each. So I have one mascara, one foundation, one eyeshadow palette, one lipstick, etc. And that really helps me to keep my collection really simple and minimal. I'll usually start with applying my foundation, and sometimes I skip this step, but I do prefer to actually use foundation most of the time. I just apply it with my fingers, and what I like about this one is that it does give good coverage, but it doesn't really feel like I have something on, like it's still pretty lightweight. Forgive me for using the viewfinder. I don't have another mirror that I can put at the back of my camera, so I'm just making do here. Then I will use some setting powder and a bit of concealer just underneath my eyes. I tend to have dark circles here. I've always had that. I think it's because my skin is just very like thin and light, so everything shines through. So I use these. What I do is with my leftover concealer products, I also go here because I tend to get freckles here and it kind of makes it look like I have a mustache in certain light, so I lightly apply it there too. Let me get a little bit closer for this next step because I always draw in my eyebrows. As you can see, I have very thin and light eyebrows. You almost cannot see them. I've never plucked them or anything. This is just how they are, so I do prefer if they are a bit more visible. And then I apply my mascara. I always do this first because I tend to make a mess when applying mascara. I'm really not that good at it. So if I make a mess, I can just clean up before applying anything else. Most days, this is where I stop. I just leave it at this. Sometimes if I want a little more makeup or if I'm filming a video, I'll do a bit more. So I'll first apply this, what's this called? Primer for eyeshadow base. I just use my fingers for this as well. And then I will use a very light eyeshadow. As you can see, I've hit pan on the 4 lightest colors in this palette. Sometimes I will use like this brown or this brown if I want just a bit more dramatic eyes. So I'll apply this really light shade on the whole lid. I have newfound respect for beauty vloggers because this is really hard to do on camera. And then I'll go in with this shade on the moving part of the lid. So again, sometimes this is where I will stop, and the last thing that I might do often when I'm filming a video is add some eyeliner, just a really thin line that ends into a little wing. All right, that's it. I kind of stopped using blush or like a bronzer. I do have one still. But I don't know, I kind of just started embracing my naturally pale complexion a bit more, and I don't really feel like I need to cover it up or make it look like I'm more tan than I am. If I want to do something for my lips, I have a little trick. So I apply a bit of lip balm first, and then I go in with some lipstick. And what this does is it just makes the lipstick, first of all, not dry out my lips, and second, it makes it feel like you're not really wearing lipstick, but you are getting just a bit more color on your lips. That's my little lipstick trick. Lastly, I want to quickly show you what I do with my nails. I used to always get gel nails back in the day, and I still really love them. I think they are beautiful, but just in my life where I'm at right now, I prefer to keep things kind of just simple and low maintenance. So I'll just file them short with this paper nail filer, and then I use a clear coat most of the time to give them a bit more shine. I do have a little selection of nail polishes in case I feel like painting them, which I will sometimes do and sometimes not. So I've been feeling a little odd and self-conscious making this video. On the one hand, I keep getting questions from you all, like, what do you do for your hair and your skincare and your makeup? So I'm glad to now have this video so that all the questions are answered. But on the other hand, I never really feel like I know what I'm doing half the time when it comes to things like this, you know, skincare, beauty, makeup, fashion. I feel like I'm just winging it and I don't really have anything that good or helpful to share. I've also never really had like a big sister type person in my life or a good girlfriend to teach me things like this. So I've often actually felt a little inferior. But that's the thing, because I feel like we probably all feel like this at least some of the time, and it's easy to look at someone else, especially online, because you only see what they want you to see, and think like, oh, she looks great, I wish I could do that, or I wish I could look like that. But they're probably also feeling like they don't really know what they're doing half the time, because we are the only ones who live inside our own head, and we all have things that we feel insecure about or things that we don't really know how to do. And it's easy to look at someone else and think like, oh, they have it all figured out, and feel like we're the only ones who don't really know. But I don't show you on this channel what I, for example, look like when I'm just editing a video and I'm just wearing pajamas, no makeup, hair all over the place. It's not glamorous, and this is what I look like sometimes as well. So you can't really think that by what someone shows you online that that's how they always look. So that is kind of what I wanted to talk to you about, I guess, at the end of the video, and let you know that I also don't feel that sophisticated most of the time. I really don't know what I'm doing sometimes, and we probably all feel like this sometimes. So the best thing that you can do for yourself when it comes to confidence, I think, is like, sure, learning about skincare, hair care and stuff, because it does help and it is fun and interesting, but also learning to base your confidence on things other than your looks. So if you know who you are inside, what your values are, what you find important, that those things are all so much more important, I think, than how we look. So maybe you're a really good friend, or maybe you're super funny, or you're really good at your job, you're talented, or something else. I hope you liked the video and that you found it helpful. I have 2 more videos when it comes to like things I do for beauty and skincare and healthy habits and stuff. I'll leave those in the description box below if you want to check them out. And also, quick reminder that I'm running an anniversary sale on my ebook and my 2 online courses. So Simple Happy Zen turned 6 this month, and to celebrate, I am giving 15% off on my decluttering ebook, my Simplify Your Life online course, and my 30-day slow living program, which is called Unhurried. So I will leave all the information for you in the description box below, and the links and the discount code. It is until September 1st that I'm running this sale, so if you wanna check them out, then definitely do that quickly. Also, if you're in the market for a new deodorant, definitely check out Wild and get your 20% off. I highly recommend them. They are very, very nice. So I will leave the links for you and the discount code in the description box as well. And as always, questions, comments, conversations down below. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you all again next week. Bye bye. Am I the only one who often makes a mess when applying mascara? Please tell me in the comments and let me know that I'm not the only one here.